Magnific AI made me ugly. This is the image upscaler that everyone else is praising like it's the best thing since sliced bread. But I have to wonder, are they putting a thumb on the scale? If I pick the right type of images, can I make Magnific seem awesome? Especially if the video is sponsored or I have a cheeky little affiliate link right below my video. Should we be suspicious of channels that never seem to have a negative opinion about any tool? Or maybe I'm wrong, I'm too cynical, and by the end of this video, I'll be singing Magnific's praises. That's more than enough intro. Can I get some theme music? Before we dig into whether Magnific lives up to its promises or not, let's see what it actually promises. We're going to go to their homepage. This is where we're going to show examples of what they can do, and then we're going to see if it can actually do it. The first example is this picture of the forest. And when you grab this little line, we can see what the upscaled version looks like. Obviously, it looks trash, amazing. Trash, amazing. They have other examples, which is a cartoon image and a woman's mouth. They have these buttons, levers you can do to give it more or less power. It's good for all these things: portraits, illustration, video games, landscape, science fiction, fantasy, films, graphic design, architecture, interior design, food, and whatever you want. Basically, you can upscale anything. And here's two examples of people. These are the ones we want to look at the most. Look at this man. Is he more handsome? And which image is the better image is a great question. Here's the same thing. This is the before. Here's the after. Is she more beautiful in the second version? Here we have a picture of an old man. Low resolution, high resolution. Adds a lot of character to the image. And here's an anime, Japanese cartoon image. Low resolution, high resolution. Low resolution, high resolution. So they're making some very specific claims, and these are the exact claims that we're going to test. You say you're the best at doing cartoons, animals like cats, animation styles, and people. That's what I'm going to test. Here's the before, here's the after, before, after. If you look closely, this says 810 letter A, alpha. Change this to 9169. I'm suspicious. I'm going to tell you that right out the gate. Having tested this tool, I'm suspicious of some of these results, but here's all of their examples. Now it's time to start testing. First, I'm going to show you two images that I upscaled several months ago when Magnific first came on the scene, and everyone said it was amazing, and I wanted to test it to see what it could do. Let me show you these two examples, and you tell me if I look better or worse. Here's a picture of me in this very room wearing a different colored polo shirt. Watch what it does to my face and tell me how you feel if this was you. I don't feel good right now. Look in the hands. It's adding a lot of veins, a lot of hair here, a lot of damage. And now my hand is shiny, and also it looks like it might be sticky. This is very hurtful. If you're wondering how I feel looking at this image, the answer is bad. This really upset me. My kids walked in and started laughing when they saw this because it's so shocking. Even my 3-year-old noticed and goes, "That's not daddy," and started laughing because it's so bad. Let's try another example. Maybe it was just an off picture. Here's a picture of me taken outside. Let's start dragging, see how it does the background. Okay, the jungle looks a little bit better. How's my arm looking? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And what the hell? It tends to create this shape for me and lengthen my nose. I'm not sure why, but this face does appear in several image upscalers. So this was my experience the first time I tested the tool, and I hated it. I said, I'm never going to use this. The main use case I have for image upscalers is pictures of me. I have to use pictures of me in my thumbnails, in a lot of the examples that I use, in a lot of the different places I create images. I shoot videos with myself in them all the time. So this is my main use case, but maybe I'm completely off track. Today, we're going to use a very specific image protocol to test. Step one is we take an image and put it into Affinity Photo. We then export that image and crush it by at least 75%. So I'm going to hit File, Export. I'm converting the PNGs to JPG, and you can see that this is 1000 by 1000, so I make it 300 by 300. And then I'm going to export. Now we have another image that's an image of my family, exact same thing. File, Export. And I crush this by a lot more, from 3500 to 500. It loses a lot of the resolution. I then run every image through a tool called OptImage. 3 images we're going to test have been run through OptImage and crushed by another 70 to 77.3%. To minimize any excess data that might be hidden in the back of the image, that Magnific could take advantage of since it's a compressed image and grab that file data. So I pushed all of that out. Images that were originally 2 megabytes are now less than 100 kilobytes, and even the biggest one is 164 kilobytes. We made these very small images to test. This is important because Magnific doesn't like large images. If I give it an actual HD image, it refuses to work on it. You have to have a smaller image anyways. Now we're going to test each of these images to see what happens. Maybe there's something I'm missing and the tool is actually amazing. We're going to go through our tests now. Here on the left-hand side of the screen is the original image, and on the right-hand side, we can see the compressed image. We can't really tell from a distance, but when we zoom in, we'll start to notice that things are a little bit different. Let's zoom in quite a bit. Let's focus on my face. Now we're quite zoomed in on my face. Now in our 500 crush, you can see that it's very pixelated. In both cases, I don't look great. When you zoom in this much, it's not really my best. You can see how pixelated the image is. This is the image that we're going to feed and see what Magnific can do with. Let's start expanding that image. See what it does to my 11-year-old daughter's face. Well, that's hurtful. It did change my son's ethnicity. That's a different race. Very strange. Here's me. This is the worst I've ever looked. It's now added between 40 and 50 years to my age. My younger son now looks like a monster. And how about the baby? Monster. It's taken away quite a few of her teeth. And if I show my kids this image, they're going to be crying. Is this Magnific's fault? What happens if I use an alternative tool? I'm a big fan of Topax Gigapixel AI. This is my favorite upscaling tool, and we're going to show several examples as our baseline. The reason I like Topax Gigapixel is that you pay one time and you can use it as much as you want. It uses your local computer. It downloads updated models every single time I open it. It's constantly updating itself for free in the background, and you can see actually there's an update available. So I'm not even running the latest version with today's test. Here's what happens when we compare the version that came from Topax. This is the Topax upscaled version. We're going to zoom in and see how it works on my face. You can see there's some problems here with the eyes. There's some softness here because it's doing a lot of guessing and math, but it still looks like me, just a more horrific version of me. This is our baseline. Let's look at my kids' faces. Still looks like them. Like my daughter's teeth, you can see the teeth merged into one set of teeth, but it didn't jump her age. Same thing here. It made her eyes look a little bit wonky, but this is a real picture. This is an upscaled version of the image. And if we go down and look, you can see what my son's face looks like. It's pretty accurate. There's a little softness right here around the eye, but otherwise it's a pretty accurate representation. Let's look at the baby's face. You can see making a similar face. But the one change is the eyes here. Something went wrong where it looks a little bit off, but she's making a silly face. This is what happens. We zoom in and zoom out. This is our baseline. Is Magnific significantly better or significantly worse than Topax? In my opinion, is significantly worse. This to me is unusable. This is something you do if you want to make an enemy. You take someone's Christmas card, run it through Magnific, and send it back to them to see if they hate you. One of their big claims is that they're amazing with animation. Let's see if Magnific can do a cat wizard. This is a test I've seen other people do, so I said, I need to do cat wizard. Maybe that's my mistake. It doesn't do real people, even though that's the claim of their homepage. You saw that. Let's take a look. Now, this does look better, but does it look better than what you can get using another tool? Here's our cat wizard. You can see what it's going to look like before and after. I'm going to hit save. And it's going to upscale. You can even see that this is actually doing a 4x, whereas they're only doing a 200% jump. So 300 by 300 to 1200 by 1200. Massive jump in size, almost 40 times bigger. Let's hit save. And that's how fast it makes the images. So it's a very, very quick process. The comparison is between these two images. And for me, Magnific, you can see, look at the necklace. We can even zoom in more on the cat at the necklace. There's not a significant jump in quality. The shape is different here. Notice this no longer looks like a cat bell. Here's our original cat wizard. Here's the upscaled version. And here's the version from Topax Gigapixel. This picture is obviously the best, the original. The Topax version to me is much closer than this cat version here that we get from Magnific. But maybe I'm crazy. Let me know in the comments which version of this cat is the best. Maybe your favorite version of the cat is actually one made by Magnific. I would love to know because everyone has different eyes. We all have different opinions. For our next test, we have a futuristic picture of Tokyo. This is in 60:9 ratio, so this is wide. Some of the challenges are going to be the language. Not all of these characters are drawn correctly. There's a lot of damage here. In future Tokyo, these characters are a little bit rough and hard to read. What's going to happen when we downscale it? This is the new version of the image. It's so much smaller. Look at all the resolution that gets lost. The characters become almost unreadable, especially further into the background. You almost wouldn't know what language these are. But here we have some Japanese that's really been pushed off. Same thing here. The damaged characters now become unreadable. This is a really hard test. Can you do a futuristic city Magnific? You make some big claims. Here's the low resolution version. Let's upscale it. All you really see is damage. See all these little holes that are everywhere? It's added these little damage holes on top of everything to weather the image. Is that what we're looking for? We're now going to compare this to the result from Topax Gigapixel. This is an example where Topax just blows it out of the water. You're never going to get the characters right. None of these tools are doing an interpretation like that. This is only going to happen if you do an upscale inside of Midjourney, who generated this image. They have an internal upscaler that will maintain the consistency of language because it knows what letters it put in there. But otherwise, you're just not going to get that. It doesn't have the ability to read language and try and improve language yet. That may be a future update in one of these tools, but none of these tools claim to do that. The thing about each of these tools is how they approach their upscaling. Topax Gigapixel AI is just trying to improve the image. Magnific is doing a lot of guessing. We're going to do one more live example. What we're going to do is do an anime image. Go to settings. I'm going to switch Midjourney into Niji version 6, which is their anime character version. Now, we're going to create an anime setting. So we're just going to type in imagine, magical cat in a castle surrounded by magical creatures, -- repeat, space 3. So it generates 3 batches of images. We're going to get 12 pictures to choose from. We're trying to choose an image that feels very anime, very like the style they exampled. And I'm going to go easy on Magnific, and I'm going to choose this one, the bottom 4th image, the bottom square. I'm going to upscale this image to see what it looks like. It looks pretty cool, looks hand-drawn. The background is soft. And we're going to download this image. We're going to call it Anime Cat. I'm going to open this image with Affinity Photo 2. We can look at the image document information. So it's 1024 by 1024. It's 72 DPI. The image is 1.5 megabytes in size. There's a lot of image in there. Now let's export it as a JPG. We're converting it from PNG to JPG. We're going to make it 300 by 300. So it's going to lose a lot of resolution. Let's hit export, and I'm going to call it Anime Cat small, so we know it's the compressed version. This is the version of the cat right now, and then I'm going to run it through a compressor OptImage, which is going to shrink it even further from 1.5 megabytes to 42 kilobytes. It lost a huge amount of information, and we're going to go to Magnific, and we're going to drop it. Now we're going to say art and illustrations. This is the thing I hate about Magnific. We have to fill in a lot of information. It's not using its intelligence. I have to guess, and every time I guess, it costs me credits. Already, it's put a bad taste in my mouth. We're going to give it the exact same prompt. Oh, I should have said creatures. My own mistake. So we'll paste in our original prompt. And creativity, let's go through what each of these tools means. Creativity means it lets it hallucinate, means get more ability to guess. So I'm going to push that higher. High definition, how high definition do you want? But if you go further high definition, it's going to give you more artificial appearance and blotches, so I'll leave that alone. Resemblance, I'm going to push down. You don't have to look like the original image, so I pushed it to -5. Be creative. And finally, fractality, which is the strength of your prompt and the intricacy per pixel. Lower fractality is less detail, but fewer glitches. And higher fractality amplifies your prompt and increasing small errors in overall image. All of these questions I hate, right? Then I have to guess, or I want to use automatic, magnific, Illuzio, Sharpie, or Sparkle. All of these questions, it should do on its own, in my opinion, because I'm used to using Topax Gigapixel. It has these options as well. Let me show you Topax's dashboard. Look at all of these choices. I have these different AI models to choose from. I can mess with all of these different settings. But Topax just automatically does it. Each time I add an image, it will choose which ones it thinks are the best from these options. I don't have to go in and modify them. It at least makes a guess as a starting point for me. Magnific doesn't. This is an extra skill I need to master to use their tool. I'm very uninterested in that. It should at the very least look at the image and make a guess, and then I modify it, but it doesn't do that. We're guessing here on what the result will be. Let's take away all this text. We've increased the creativity, lowered the resemblance. We've left HDR and fractality alone, and we're going to hit upscale. It's costing another 5 of my credits. and I'll be left with 20 credits after the spend. You really can't learn how to use the tool on the free plan. You have to be on the paid plan to have enough credits to really test and tweak things. But let's see if we can get a better image. Here's our original image. This leg turned into a cat. I gave it a little more freedom and it did trash. I didn't expect this. You saw me generate the image in Midjourney, download it, do the whole process. I thought it was going to look really good. I thought this would be the one where it proves me wrong. Where it goes, no, look, Jonathan, you're dumb. Magnific's amazing. Here's my image. It turned a cat kicking out its legs into two cats. Now, this is two cats. They don't look realistic. There's something wrong with this cat's ear. You can see that weird melting effect here where you've adjusted an image and bent it. There's some curve here that doesn't need to be the image. It has to do with the whiskers. I'm not sure why that happened. You can see this ear is going along the plane of this shadow. And this ear seems to have matched the top of this building or tower. It's not what I thought was going to happen. I'm really surprised that it's so bad. I thought this was going to be one where I get proven wrong, and it is good at something. Our last example is we're going to take our anime cat. There's different choices here, like standard, high fidelity, art, and CG. We can choose each of the different settings, and it will show me what it's going to look like. And I really like that. I don't have to pay a bunch of credits or wait a bunch of time. Just have to give it a few seconds to process. And I'm using an M1 Mac Mini, so this is not a powerful computer. I didn't know I was going to do video and photo editing when I bought it. We can play with these other settings like gamma correction, face recovery, and see what it's capable of doing. We go to standard model and see if it makes a significant difference. What I really want to look at is the cat's face more than the background. We'll give it a few seconds. This is pretty good, but it wants to do art and CG because it's a drawing. It knows that, it identified that. I like that it guesses which one I want to use. I'm going to hit save image, so it's going to now upscale it. We're going to hit save. Let's see how long it takes. Considering that it's using my local resources, it's very fast. We can open the file. If we compare this to our original image, if I don't tell you which one's the original, you probably don't know. They're very, very close. This is the original. There's a little more brightness here on the bell. There's a little more brightness in the eyes. Those are the two elements that are most noticeable. But as far as the parts around the foot and the leg, the lines there are still very crisp. This hasn't changed so much. I thought it was breaking the tower, but the tower is melting the original version. So we haven't lost that much there. Definitely the original version is better. It's always going to be better. But the difference between these two is not that significant compared to what we got from Magnific, which each time we use Magnific, it hurt my feelings. Now we're going to do one last test with Topax. I want to show you something that's interesting. They have a tool in here called face recovery, and you give it a level of strength. And this is a setting that it will attempt to detect and recover human face. It's best on blurry resolution, high artifacted faces. What this can do is actually save our faces. This is not art and CG. This is a standard. I'm going to have these two on. I'm going to hit save image, and let's see if it can do a better process. It's jumping in size up to 3.1 megabytes. It's a much slower process. And we're going to see how much of our faces this tool can recover. The image is a little bit blurrier. There's some lens flare happening. But look at my daughter's teeth. They no longer have that problem. They're no longer merged. Look at my face. It's not the best. I know I'm not the handsomest. I just accept that. My daughter looks silly, but my sons look great. Overall, when you start playing with settings in Topax, it gets better. When you start playing with these settings in Magnific, it gets worse. There you have it. You've seen it with your own eyes. Topax Gigapixel AI has the silliest name I have to say and costs the same as just 1 month of Magnific Premium. I bought Topax version 6 nearly a year ago, and a few weeks ago, I got a notification about downloading version 7. I thought to myself, here it comes. After the download, I'll have to enter a new registration key. Whenever products do a full version update, they always ask for more money. Except they didn't. I was so surprised that I didn't believe it at first. Then they updated on my laptop as well. Same result. Both machines are now in version 7, and it's even faster than version 6. I can upscale as many images as I want. There are no limitations, and nobody is looking over my shoulder. So let me ask you, you've seen the images in full HD. First, is Magnific good at anything? Second, is it good enough that it's worth that monthly fee? Third, is Jonathan financially motivated to promote Topax? Yeah, I am. I'm an affiliate. But believe me, I make a lot more money convincing you to grab a subscription than a single payment product. The bigger incentive is to promote software that charges a monthly fee. But it's not what I use. This channel is not my main source of income, so I don't need to seek sponsors. But maybe I missed something. Do you love some of Magnific's upscales? I think we can all agree it stinks with humans, but did you like the Cat Wizard or Future Tokyo? I hate a tool that makes me ask questions and fill in forms. How about an AI that just works? Or is that too much to ask? Let me know your favorite image in the comments below. Should I review more products that I hate or just go for the ones that I love? Please hit the like button if you learned something or at least found this video interesting. If you hit subscribe, you'll see more videos like these in your feed. And if you hit that bell, you'll get notified every time I drop a new video. Thanks for staying to the end. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked that video, I think you're going to like this one or maybe even this one. Check them out.